Hi, my name is Esteban Herrera. Welcome to the second episode of the series about building chatbots in Skype using the Microsoft Bot Framework. In the last video, we developed a bot that gives recommendations about movies and deploy it to Skype. Today, we're going to review a few ways to test it and debug it. Let's start with ngrok. So ngrok is a secure channel to localhost, and as such, it can inspect and log all the HTTP traffic running over the tunnel. If you go to localhost port 4040, you'll see that ngrok provides a UI for inspecting all this traffic. Here we have a sample request in JSON format. Its headers, the raw request in binary format, and the response 202 accepted. Here we can see other requests. We can either replay them by clicking the replay button at the top right corner of every request. In the status tab, we can see many configuration parameters and settings. As you can see, this is really useful for development, but if you're worried about security or performance, you can disable inspection with the -inspect switch. Another thing you can do is use the debugger in your IDE. So let's stop the bot here in the terminal, and in VS Code we switch to the debug view. We have no profiles, so let's create one. Node.js. This will create a launch.json file that we can edit to configure the debugger. In program, let's change it to bot, and we can add an env section where we specify all of our environment variables. I already had it in the clipboard. In this case, we have a not-env variable, the MovieDB API key, you just have to insert your own API key, the Microsoft App ID, and the Microsoft App password. Let's save this file, go back to the bot file to put some breakpoints. Here and here. Now let's launch the bot using the debugger. Alright, when we send a message, we can see the session parameters, the genres. Let's continue. Results. Inside we can see the response object. Go step by step. And well, everything you do when you are debugging a program. Let's finish this conversation. 2016. Okay. Now let's review the bot framework emulator. I already stopped ngrok and the debugger, so I'm going to start the bot from the command line. To download the emulator installer, we can search for it on GitHub, or here's the link at the bottom of the bot framework homepage. So this emulator is a piece of software that lets you test calls to your bot without actually using a channel like Skype and inspect the messages. It's supported on Windows, Mac, and Linux. You just have to download the file for your platform. I already installed it and I have it right here. Because of the way the bot framework authentication works, the emulator needs to get authentication callbacks from the internet. ngrok is helpful in this kind of situations, so the emulator is configured to work with it. It expects ngrok to be located in the usr local bin directory. This is not my case, so I have to configure it here. We can see the emulator port, the callback URL, which we can change if we clear the ngrok path. Let's leave the default values. I'm just going to change the ngrok path and save it. Now everything seems to be working fine. Let's enter the endpoint URL. Since everything is in the same machine, localhost is fine. I need to enter the Microsoft App ID and password here. I have the password on the clipboard. And for the ID, I'm going to copy it from the bot page. And connect. A chat window just appeared, so let's say hi. If we click on the hi message, we can see the JSON object that represents that message. And here's the other message. Let's give it a name. Once again, we can click on those messages to see them as JSON objects. And movie. This time the list is shown as buttons. You can see the list of genres is represented as an attachment. Let's choose animation, 2016, and here's the movie. Let's see these messages as JSON objects. And if we go back to the terminal, we can see a lot of debug information from our interaction with the emulator. So that's it for today. I hope you find this useful. In the next video, using Luis.ai, we'll modify our bot so it can understand natural language. Take care and thanks for watching.